For 527 years, a king lay forgotten, not in a tomb, but beneath a parking lot, until science brought him back. A battlefield death, a body buried without ceremony. But what if everything we were told wasn't the whole truth? This is Amazing Basit, where history isn't just told, it's uncovered, where forgotten kings speak again. For centuries, historians searched for Richard III's grave and found nothing, just silence and a mystery. Then in 2012, archaeologists made a bold decision: dig beneath a car park, chasing a 500-year-old rumor. The clue came from Philippa Langley, an amateur historian who believed the king was never moved. He was still there. Skeptics laughed. Funding was nearly refused. "You're digging for a ghost," they said. But the team pressed forward. August 2012. Excavators broke ground. Day after day, they found nothing but soil, rubble, and disappointment. Then, on the very first day, something impossible appeared. A human leg bone protruding from the earth. Silence fell across the site. Could this really be him? They had just found history's greatest discovery. Work stopped immediately. This was no longer just an excavation. It was now a 500-year-old crime scene. Bone by bone, the skeleton was lifted with painstaking care. Then, the first shock: a curved spine. A curved spine, scoliosis. Suddenly, centuries-old whispers didn't sound like myths. They sounded like testimony. Old accounts described one shoulder higher than the other, long dismissed as propaganda. Now, the bones agreed. But bones alone couldn't prove identity. Only DNA could, tracing a bloodline across 17 generations, 500 years. Genealogists began an extraordinary hunt, tracing an unbroken bloodline from the 15th century to modern London. They found him, a quiet furniture maker, unaware his blood connected him to a forgotten king. He agreed to a simple cheek swab, never imagining it could rewrite British history forever. But the process wasn't smooth. The ancient bones were degraded. The first DNA extraction attempts failed. Weeks of setbacks followed. Doubt crept in. Had they found a king, or just another unmarked grave? Meanwhile, another mystery deepened. The skeleton showed 10 brutal wounds, inflicted after death, suggesting humiliation. One wound stood out, a devastating blow to the skull, likely causing instant death on the battlefield. For the first time, science was reconstructing a king's final, violent moments, in detail no book ever could. Then came the moment of truth. Scientists compared ancient DNA to the living descendants sample. Everyone held their breath. The results came back, a confirmed match. After 527 years, the lost king had finally been found. His name echoed worldwide: Richard III, the last English king to die in battle, and history's most controversial monarch. For 500 years, he was remembered as a villain, immortalized by Shakespeare as a murderer who stole the throne. But historians debate, was this accurate or propaganda, written generations later by the family that defeated him? The Princes in the Tower, 2 royal boys who vanished, remains one of Britain's greatest unsolved mysteries. Some believe Richard ordered their deaths. Others say there's no solid evidence, just history's most convenient villain. No document, no confession has ever proven his guilt. It remains one of history's most debated unsolved cases. With identity confirmed, scientists faced their next challenge: reconstructing his face from the true shape of his skull. Forensic artists layered muscle, skin, and tissue, combining 3D scans and DNA to bring a lost face to life. After 5 centuries of silence, his face finally appeared. Not a monster, a real man. Young, vulnerable. The world reacted with disbelief. This wasn't Shakespeare's villain, just a young king, caught in brutal politics. Identifying him was only half the story. Now came a harder question. Where would he finally rest? A fierce debate erupted. Leicester, where he was found. York, where his family ruled. A legal battle began. Court battles followed. Petitions were signed. For months, a king reignited debate over identity, heritage, and honor. In the end, the court ruled. Leicester, the city that found him, would be his final resting place. March 2015. After 527 years, King Richard III was finally given a royal burial with full honors. Millions watched live. Church bells rang across Leicester. A forgotten king was now honored by a nation. Inside the cathedral, his coffin was lowered into a tomb, carved from limestone, marked with his name. But even as the world mourned, scientists weren't finished. Deeper analysis was about to reveal something unexpected. Isotope analysis revealed a stunning detail. His diet changed dramatically, hinting at a richer lifestyle in his final years. Rich foods, wine, rare delicacies. His final years were marked by both power and indulgence. Then came another twist. Genetic testing revealed a break in the royal male bloodline, a hidden secret unnoticed for centuries. This meant somewhere in 500 years, a false paternity event occurred, a break no records ever mentioned. It didn't disprove his identity. The maternal line stayed solid, but it raised a haunting question about royal bloodlines. This discovery quietly reshaped how historians view royal lineage, reminding us bloodlines aren't always what records say. A simple car park excavation had done more than find a king. It rewrote how we verify history itself. Today, thousands visit Leicester Cathedral yearly, not just to see a tomb, but proof that history can still surprise us. His story changed how the world sees archaeology, DNA science, and Shakespeare's legacy, separating fiction from fact. His facial reconstruction now sits in museums worldwide, letting people look into the eyes of a king lost for centuries. Philippa Langley, who refused to give up, is remembered as the woman who brought a forgotten king home. This wasn't just a story about a king. It was about truth, how science cuts through centuries of myth. A king once dismissed as a villain was finally seen as human, flawed, complex, and real. His story reminds us history is never truly settled. Beneath every forgotten field, another truth may wait. From soil to science, from myth to truth, the lost king had finally come home, as himself. Some stories are buried by time, but the truth always finds a way back to the surface. This has been Amazing Basit. If this moved you, subscribe. More lost kings are waiting to be found.